So we talked in class about making contour lines, and there were some great ideas of different ways to do that. Remember that you create your contours with the Spatial Analyst tool, contour tool. You've got to have your extensions turned on. I'm going to pick my DEM. Don't set this to the default. I'm going to go into the Lab 9, into Elevation, into Data, and create it there. So this is going to be called Contour, and I'm going to do 100-foot contour lines. And I think we started our base contour line at 300. Whoops. Okay. So I'm going to choose OK. It's going to create those contours. And this is just telling me that my I have two different projections, one for my other data and one for the contours in the DEM. Okay, so there it is. And so one way to create index lines was to run the program again, and instead of 100-foot contour interval, make it 500-foot or 400-foot contour intervals, and then put the 400-foot on top of the 100-foot and symbolize them differently. That would be a great way to do that. Another way we talked about doing that was to open the attribute table. And we did this in the web-based GIS. You used the Select by Attribute tool. We want to select from the contours, and we want contour equals, let's do 500 or contour equals 1,000. Okay, so I've got all of those. Apply, and you can see it's just selecting the contours that meet my requirement. And at this point there's two options. One, I can export the data, and put it in my Lab 9 folder as index 500. So now I have index 500 contour lines. I'm going to take the DEM off. Right? So I can symbolize these very lightly. And I can symbolize these a lot darker. Okay, I'm going to turn off the selection in just a second. The other way to do that is to make a new field, and I'm going to call it index. And I want it to be a text field because I'm going to put yes, no on that. We'll talk about field types in the next couple weeks. Okay. So whatever I do with the field calculator right now will only do it to those cells that are selected. So it'll only do it to 168 cells. So I'm going to say yes. So I'm going to go to create a string, and it says index equals, so I'm going to say a capital Y. All right. So all of those that are my index lines are now selected with a Y. Now I can go in here and say switch the selection. So now what it does is select all the others. I can go to my field calculator, and this time select no. Okay, so now I'm going to close that. Maybe I'll close it. Right, and I'm going to unselect that now. Okay, so these are my the contour lines the way they would look if I made a separate file of contour lines. So I have my light contour lines and then my dark contour lines. These contour lines now have a category, a yes/no category. So I can get into the symbology and the properties and do some fancy mapping. And instead of mapping all the features the same, I can map them by the category we created. So the category is index, and there's my yes and no. So my yes, excuse me, I'm going to put a dark brown, maybe 1.04. Okay. And my no, which are just the intermediate contour lines, I'm going to do kind of a light brown and a point. Let's just try that. Oops, I forgot to do one thing. I need to turn that off. Okay, so there are my contour lines with the index line, and I can change that to index. And click that and change that to just regular contour. There you go. There you go. So I have a contour map with contour lines and index lines. I don't know how effective it is, but anyway, that's you guys talked about great ways to do that, to make that happen. All right.